Hey there, peoples of the internet, Tiger J15 here. Now, you remember when I made my top 20 childhood cartoons, I said, what's one thing that most people remember about their childhoods? Aside from video games? The cartoons, of course. Well, since then, I've had a few of you saying that you wanted me to do a list about video games. Well, as much as I'd love to make a video game related video, I don't actually do video game related content on my channel. Huh. Well, you know, as much as I'd love to, I'd need to be in the middle of making a video. Son of a bitch! Alright, fine. But if we're going to do this, we're gonna have to abide by some rules. Number one game per developer, because if I did have multiple games from multiple developers, then companies like Bethesda and BioWare would dominate the list. 2, it has to be a game that I played, obviously. And number 3, I have to like the game, obviously again. Now with that said, let's get on with the list. Number 11. Oh Sega, what are we going to do with you? First you make Knuckles look like a freak, and now you lose the rights to Shenmue? But despite your flaws, you have made some of my favorite games over the years, especially in the case of Sonic. But what Sonic game could possibly get into my top 11 list? Well, Sonic Advance 3 is an awesome game for the Game Boy Advance. Sonic Heroes is one of my top 3 Sonic games, but it's Sonic and Knuckles that is my absolute favorite. So, for those of you that don't know, Knuckles is my favorite Sonic character, and the fact that I get to play as him is just awesome. Heck, this is one of the original games in which you could have more than one storyline in the same game. This was Sonic in his prime, until the fanfiction started to creep in. I'm looking solely at you, Sonic 06. Though, with excellent games like Sonic Colors, Sonic Generations, and the new Sonic Boom on the horizon, Sonic will hopefully be at his best sometime soon. Number 10. Tell me, dear peoples of the internet, what's one of the greatest game series that EA owns that originally was owned by a different company? Well, I'll tell you. It's The Sims. Now, I would talk about the other Sims games like but the original holds a special place in my heart. Now, I didn't originally own the awesome laptop that I am currently using in order to read this previously written script. I owned a crappy PC that sort of looked something like this. Okay, I know it looks outdated, but come on, this was the early 2000s. This was before most schools had computers or IT as a course. But anyway, I had this on the Xbox, and you know, for someone such as me who loves creativity, this was like honey to a bear. There's only a few things that I remember about my Saturday afternoons playing this on my little green and black box. Those would be that Malcolm Landgrab and my mum, in the game, are complete jerks, and the second would be that the music in this series is some of the best that I've heard in any video game. Seriously, sometimes I would go to the build or buy menu just so I could listen to that wonderful music. The Sims, in my opinion, truly is the game of life. Number 9. 2009. The day where LEGO finally got its own video game. Okay, that's completely not true. LEGO had games made as early as 1997, with 2 of my favourite games being LEGO Racers and LEGO Rock Raiders, both being released in 1999. But 2009 was the release date of the biggest selling PC game and the third best selling game of all time, Minecraft. Yeah, that's it. You already know what the heck I'm on about. I probably don't even have to say it anymore because I'm betting you've played this game, whether it be on Xbox, PlayStation, or PC, you've played it. The free roam basic story game where your imagination is your key to survival. This game is just so simple but so awesome. It's a desperate fight for survival and a desperate struggle from you to go from nothing to Bear Grylls. Minus the piss drinking, of course. And with mods for pretty much whatever you desire, like pretending to be one of your favorite superheroes, or going to both the moon and Mars. It's no wonder why 45 million people worldwide have this game. Minecraft, it's what LEGO could have been if they were a little more creative. Though their games still do rock. Number 8. You know, I believe it was Mr. Lancer from the awesome Danny Phantom series that once said, War never changes. Which totally isn't a way for me to link to my previous top 10, in which I talk about my favourite top 20 cartoon shows growing up, which is in that link next to me, ironically. No, not at all. Well, let's continue, shall we? War might not change, but the way that you fight in Fallout 3 certainly is. Now, I'm talking about Fallout 3 Game of the Year Edition. I realise that I am including the DLC in this spot, but I just want a chance to talk about it. Fallout 3 managed to take a classic series and, much like Resident Evil, took it to a new and awesome direction. Unlike in the previous editions where there was a set time limit or any reason to just do the main quest line, with this game you could leave the vault and explore the expansive world of post-nuclear war DC. You know what, after all these years, I still haven't discovered everything that's in this game. It literally took me years to accidentally come across the Temple of Union and get the Head of State achievement. Seriously, in my opinion, Fallout 3 is one of the best open-world RPGs that I've ever played. I look forward to finding out more secrets in this game towards the reveal of Fallout 4. Number 7. Peter Molyneux. So if you don't know who this guy is, let me give you a brief history. Pretty much, this guy has created some game companies like Bullfrog Productions and Lionhead Studios, which in turn have created some of the best and most unique games for the PC, PlayStation, and Xbox, including the Popular series, Theme Park, the Black and White series, the movies, and what came in at number 7, Fable, or rather Fable Lost Chapters. Now, I will admit 2 things. 1, Peter Molyneux is a complete twat. And 2, he's the master of hyping his games, and that certainly is the case with Fable. But anyway, in Fable, or Fable Lost Chapters, you're a simple run-of-the-mill boy whose home gets destroyed by bandits. You then get taken in and trained by a guild of heroes, and now have free will to go throughout the world and destroy or save it as you see fit. And that's it. With the limitless free roam in order to discover demon doors, become mayor of Bowerstone, and even travel to distant lands to save the world, with an awesome morality and fighting system, it's hard not to see why this series is awesome. But anyway, I love Fable Lost Chapters, even if Peter is a complete twat. Number 6. From the people that clearly have no idea what they're doing with Mega Man anymore, now they bring you one of my absolute favourite games.
Resident Evil 4!
What he said. Seriously, how much do you reckon that guy got paid to do the voiceover? Anywho, Resident Evil 4 is a game that took the Resident Evil series in a new direction, while staying true to its survival horror roots. Anyone who says they weren't afraid of this thing is a bloody liar. you'll excuse me for a moment. I believe I need to go kill some regenerators. The story is quite something also. As Leon F. Kennedy from Resident Evil 2, you must go to Spain and find the president's daughter. And while we're here, let's address the elephant in the room. Leon! Ashley Graham is the president's daughter, and personally, I like her. I feel that she's a good person to have with you, especially if you're going for items in areas where you require 2 people. She's certainly better than later partners. I'm looking directly at you, Sheva. I honestly never had any problems while I was escorting her through Resident Evil 4, and I don't get why the internet hates her so much. She's a valuable commodity to have, plus she's cute. Overall, Resident Evil 4 is a brilliant addition to the Resident Evil series, which I will come back to time and again, even if 5 and 6 were kind of meh. Number 5. You know what? Haze was crap. There's no denying it. It was utter crap. But whenever I think about that game, I feel sad for Free Radical and what I think is their magnum opus, the Time Splitters series. And yes, I do mean the entire series. Now, before you say I can't do that, bullshit. This is my list. As a summary, you play as Sergeant Cortez, who must travel through time, or rather quantum leap through time, though you do time travel in the third game, and save the world from deadly creatures called Time Splitters that go through time and screw up humanity's timeline. I absolutely adored this series. The characters, my favourite to either being Harry Tipper or Captain Ash, the writing and the plot, it's just bliss. Plus, the list of weapons that you get from each time period is awesome. It's a wonderful trilogy that I honestly can't put one apart from the other. Now, Crytek, since you now own the rights to the series, I beg you to either make Time Splitters 4 or a HD remake. I don't care what console you make it on, PS4, Xbox One, Atari 2600, I don't care. I will personally go out and buy that console and the game on its release date. That is how much I love this series. Still, there are at least 4 more games that I feel are better. So let's go have a look at them. Number 4. If you haven't guessed throughout my videos, especially my game-related videos, there's a certain thing that I love. And that thing is Metal Gear. I love the Metal Gear series, though unlike with the Time Splitters series, I am going to decide between them. So, even though Metal Gear Solid 2 improved a lot from the first game, Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater... Yeah, thanks for that. It was an awesome spy flick that, like the rest of these games, needs to be made into a movie, and Metal Gear Solid 4 just broke my heart. I am in fact going with the original Metal Gear Solid, because it's what got me into the series to begin with. More specifically, Metal Gear Solid and Twin Snake, since they're pretty much the same game. So, Solid Snake is brought out of retirement to infiltrate the facility on Shadow Moses Island off the coast of Alaska, which involves a lot of hiding in boxes, dealing with ridiculous super soldiers, and blowing up giant mechs. This game is just so brilliantly bonkers. It manages to mix in a serious plot and characters with some really otherworldly situations. For example, Psycho Mantis. Number 3. Now here's a game that I recently learned about, which quickly became my 3rd favourite game of all time. It's about a psychic boy that goes on an adventure with his mates to stop an alien invasion and save the world. It's what I think is Nintendo's best game, Earthbound. Now, in case I get a lot of Nintendo fans screaming at me that it should probably be mother-free, I've never actually played it. I'm always a sucker for an epic adventure game in which it involves saving the world. However, this game manages to take it one step further by having invading aliens, time-traveling bees, a runaway band, haunted towns, evil corporation, mad cults, weird skeeter-like creatures, and a fat kid whom, if I ever get my hands on, will become best friends with the granite on the floor. In an industry where being unique and different can make or break a game, Earthbound manages to do this and still manages to go the extra mile by having a unique, weird, and wonderful storyline, and some really creepy villains. I'm looking directly at you, Gygus. Please do not come near me. Earthbound and the Mother series in general is one of the only game series to actually make me cry. That and the Metal Gear Solid series. I'd love this game, plain and simple. And don't even get me started on the fan base. Number 2. Oh, Ubisoft. The recent screw-up that you made with the new Assassin's Creed is ridiculous. But let's forget about that and go back to a time before the Assassin's Creed series started. Heck, even before the 360. To a little game on the Xbox known as Beyond Good and Evil. Beyond Good and Evil is one of those games that can suck you into its world in the first 5 minutes of play. Hell, even within the first cutscenes. From the same creator that brought you Rayman, you play as Jade, an investigative reporter that's about to get involved with the secret organization of Iris, and uncover a secret concerning all of Hillett. As Jade, you get to go investigating the activities of the Alpha sections with your Uncle Page and the always optimistic Double H, by going Metal Gear and infiltrating their areas of operation. Now, since this game was released originally back in 2003, its world compared to games like GTA 5 is quite small. However, it makes up for it by providing it with brilliant side quests and activities such as racing, infiltrating side areas in order to get pearls, which is the very heart and soul of the games, and fun games. It manages to provide a brilliant open world stealth 'em up with an awesome story that, in my opinion, has some of the best writing for a video game I've seen in a long time. I love this game so much that I own it on Xbox, Xbox 360, PC, and pretty much every gaming platform that I own. It's definitely worth every penny. Now Ubisoft, if you would stop working on that Assassin's Creed series and work on Beyond Good and Evil 2, instead of teasing us with trailers and gameplay footage, then that would be brilliant. But until said time, I will just have to keep playing the first one on all of my gaming platforms. And number 1 goes to... Number 1 is a tie between my all-time 2 favorite games, which, ironically, both came from the same developer, BioWare. Now, you might be thinking that I'm talking about something like the Mass Effect series, but it didn't make it onto this list because of the third game's ending, which might be a bit much, but really, screw EA for that travesty. Anywho, onto our tied games. Before a time where Mass Effect and Dragon Age existed, to the early 2000s, when what I think are their best games were released, and those would be Star Wars, Knights of the Old Republic, and Jade Empire. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I put these two in the same position because they both have the same feel as each other. In both games, you create your own character, and from there is about to go on a quest of epic proportion. In Knights of the Old Republic, you escape a Sith bombardment and become a Jedi. From there, you're on the hunt for the Starforge, a giant weapon of epic destructive power. This was set 4,000 years before the movies, mind you. On your journey, you gain crew members and discover a secret that's so massive that I'm still getting over it 11 years later. Whereas in Jade Empire, You're a student in a martial arts school that finds out that he has a greater destiny ahead of him. He goes on a journey in search of his master. Trust me, it's not as cliché as it sounds. Along the way, you also gain more companions and are able to discover more about your own past. Both games manage to have absolutely wonderful stories with plot twists that M. Night Shyamalan couldn't even dream of. They both manage to have a variety of unique and wonderful characters that, as time goes on, you care for and get invested in. My favourite characters from both games would be the Black Whirlwind and Jolie Bindo. I overall fell in love with these games. Hell, I fell so much in love with Jade Empire that I swore I'd one day make a movie about it. These two games brought me into their worlds, made me experience their lore, and provided me with hours of entertainment and a rich story. These were the two games that were the first ones to make me feel emotional. These games were the first ones to make me feel emotional when it came to gaming. And you know what? Nothing is ever going to take that experience away from me. So, there you go. 1 request, 12 games, and 2 big winners. I've been Tiger J15, and now, if you'll excuse me, I have some games to replay.